I'm going to turn it over to my brother, who's going to entertain you with a joke.
This isn't my joke. This is my dad's joke, so I blame him for it, wherever he is. But he thought this was funny. I think you might find it funny. So as the story goes, Buddy and his wife Edna went to the state fair every year. And every year, Buddy would say, "Edna, I'd like to ride in that helicopter." And Edna always replied, "I know, Buddy, but that helicopter ride is $50. And $50 is $50. One year, Buddy and Edna went to the fair, and Buddy said, "Edna, I'm 85 years old. If I don't ride that helicopter, I might never get another chance." To this, Edna replied, "Buddy, that helicopter ride is $50, and $50 is $50. The pilot overheard the couple and said, "Folks, I'll make you a deal. I'll take the both of you for a ride. If you can stay quiet for the entire ride and don't say a word, then I won't charge you a penny. But if you say one word, then it's $50. Buddy and Edna agreed, and they went up. The pilot did all kinds of fancy maneuvers, but not a word was heard. He did his daredevil tricks over and over again, but still not a word. When they landed, the pilot turned to Buddy and said, "By golly, I did everything I could to get you to yell out, but you didn't. I'm impressed." And Buddy replied, "Well, to tell you the truth, I almost said something when Edna fell out, but $50 is $50.
In honor of the 50th wedding anniversary, they thought that this was fitting. We have a lot of special guests here with us today and really appreciate everybody coming from near and far, people from a number of people here from Nova Scotia, Calgary, and lots of other places. And we are going to do a reenactment, not we, because we weren't around then. My parents, Dave and Jane, are going to do a reenactment. So a then and a now reenactment. And they have asked that as part of it, the folks that stood up with them at the time kind of be up here close to center. So John, Paul, Joan, Fern, and Marion, if you want to make your way up to the front area here, that would be great. And we have near and dear family friend of ours. We grew up in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, and in the Lynaghsea area, and we went to Monroe Avenue Baptist Church. And Reverend Dave McDonald was the pastor there for many years. He was like a second father, and his family we've stayed close with. And ladies, you can sit down there until she arrives. And so Dave's son went on to become a pastor. He's a pastor in the Sussex area, and his name is Tim McDonald. And Tim is going to be officiating the then part of the ceremony, and I'll invite him to come to the mic along with the spiffy looking Dave Manuel. I know, look at that. Woo-hoo! Are those new shoes? I don't know. I don't think I've seen you wear those before. Woo-hoo!
I'm 3 sheets to the wind, by the way.
I think that means something different than years ago.
Yeah.
So,
It means something different to me than it does.
completely different than what it used to mean. Well, this is always the fun part, waiting for the bride to come. I don't know. Where is the best man? Was he supposed to be with you?
Best man.
All right. Well, it's good. Well, since you're here and I'm a pastor, might as well start preaching.
Oh,
I've been preaching through that wonderful book of the book of Daniel. How many people want to understand about the book of Daniel? Well, when I understand it, you will too. Oh, good. It's good to be part of them. I put them through living hell. When I was growing up, we would come over there after church on Sundays, and I would do everything I could to get their goat. And the sad part is all the compliments that I used to give to Dave, oh, here she comes. Everybody's been listening to me.
I have to open that up, Kat. Just open that up. Okay.
yeah, as soon as we get yeah. Sorry. You're all right.
Well, she said yes.
Everybody
You take
Been doing it for 50 years. I keep doing it for a few more years.
Do you want your people standing at the side here? Where?
well, come on my side.
What?
On your side. My side. And you guys are over on the side.
I don't know how we were situated back then, but just over there, I think it was I think we were. Yeah.
I am told that this is the original dress. You're either cheap
Or he is that.
or nostalgic. I think both, a little bit of both. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to remember the marriage of David Edwin Manuel and Jane Marie McGinnis. David, wilt thou have this woman to be thy wedded wife, to live together after God's ordinance in the holiest state of matrimony? Wilt thou love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and faithfully keep thee to her alone, as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Jane, now's your chance to get out. Wilt thou have this man to be thy wedded husband, to live together after God's holy ordinance in the holy state of matrimony? Wilt thou love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and faithfully keep thee to him alone, as long as you both shall live?
I will.
And I can honestly say they have. After they would have committed themselves to one another, they would have read these vows and said these vows together. David would have repeated, I, David, do take thee, Jane, to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. And thereto I plight thee my troth. Does anybody know what troth means? Faithfulness. Enduring faithfulness. And Jane would have repeated, I, Jane, take thee, David, to be my lawful wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. And thereto I give thee my troth, my faithfulness. They exchanged rings as a symbol of their unending, undying love for one another. And it's nice to see that you haven't gone back on your word. Which brings us to that final last segment they would have sat there through. This is the fastest wedding I've ever done. I would remind you, Dave and Jane, as you were told 50 years ago, what God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. David, you may once again kiss your bride. And I wanted to end with the benediction. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace everlasting. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with us all. Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, David and Jane Mannion. By the way, I was their favorite son.
This was the first one. Then part. The then part. So now, just excuses from her.
We're gonna do the now.
Okay. Okay. Right on. I was the year they married. Yeah.
Over here. I'll get two. Thank you.
Yeah, if you want to grab the microphone.
Okay, you're next. Okay, our next in line with the children that were born is Andrew. He's second youngest, I guess, or second oldest, or whatever. Anyway, Andrew is Director of Operations at Faith Beyond Belief in Calgary. He's a videographer, adventurous, artistic, enjoys a challenge. And that's him, right here.
We have Amy join us. Amy's our newest, or will be our newest addition. Amy works with in the IT department. What's the name of the company? Tourmaline. In Calgary. Both Andrew and Amy live in Calgary. Amy originates from Indonesia. She's a lovely lady, and she's Andrew's fiance.
And our youngest son, Peter, is just coming here now. PJ, he's a team manager in the information technology department of Samaritan's Purse in Calgary. Family man, quiet demeanor, and steady guy. And
does a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. And then where's Jill? There's Jill. Come join us, Jill. Jill is Pete's wife. She was a former X-ray technician. She's a great full-time mom. She's a very organized lady. She's been very helpful with all of this. She enjoys photography. She's busy with her family. And Jill originates from Jensing originally, right?
Okay, and they have two sons, Noah. Noah around anywhere? Okay. Noah's 9 years old, going into grade 5. He loves Lego. He's a strong, good swimmer, and lots of fun. Okay.
Caleb, you'll see them around. They're kind of shy. They don't want to come. Caleb's 5 years old. He's going in grade 1. He's very expressive. He loves to have lots of energy. I wish I could bottle some of his energy. Both of them, from Noah and Caleb. And they're lots of fun to have around. There's Caleb. There he is. So God has richly blessed us with a wonderful family, and we thank them for their love and their patience. We didn't get a hug from Pete. We didn't get a hug from Pete. Sorry. Go ahead. So this is our family. Thank them for their love and their patience with us.
Yes, and thank you all for being here to sharing this time with us, making us a day to remember. I hope you'll stick around for a bit. You can go in the house and get cooled off. I can even put a few chairs in the garage, which is quite cool, and there's a lot of chairs in the basement. So help yourself, get something to eat, mingle, and get to know one another, and have a great afternoon. Thank you for coming.
So we just wanted to thank everybody for coming, and we have a gift for our parents. Well, we give you best wishes all the time. So, yeah. That's right. I know. Didn't listen then. Don't listen now. Imagine that. Yeah, so we just wanted to, it's kind of going along with your then and now theme. And yeah, absolutely.
No LP record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful. Just, it's fragile. Kind of.
No car perch.
Wrong card. That's okay. Right gift, wrong card.
Anybody got a knife?
Yeah.
We didn't wrap it like Dad used to wrap gifts, and he would, wrap them in this big box, and then it would be a smaller box, and smaller box, and smaller box, and yeah. It kept Christmas morning going for a very long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So lots of people will, recognize some of the words and memories that are on there. As we had mentioned before, if you'd like to come up and talk about the impact that Dave and Jane have had or how you know them, feel free. We're just going... A group hug? Okay.
Dave was working in the Halifax area, and we got to know him through a college and career group that we attended, and there are quite a few here from that group as well. And Dave decided that he wasn't doing very well batching it and getting his own meals. So he made an arrangement with us 4 girls that had an apartment, and he would come and have his main meal with us. Well, after a while, he would come and have his meal and leave. After a while, he kind of was staying a little longer, and it was a little evident that he was a bit interested in one of the ladies there. And I always said he picked the best cook of the lot, and so that's how he picked Jane. He came and liked her cooking and decided she was a keeper.
Jane has a cousin by the name of Dave, too. And we've been very, very close friends for almost 60 years. In fact, I was just up there to his place a couple months ago. And anyways, so we got to know Dave and Jane. And when then he moved into Moncton, we'd already known Dave McLeod. And then the Lord very graciously took my wife home to glory about 20 years ago, 19 years ago. But the thing I remember about it was this. Dave and Jane were going to go somewhere down the States on a holiday. And Jane called me just before. She said, Dean, we're going to the States, but is there anything I can do for you? And I said, yes, there is. Jane, I don't know how to change Burl's bed. She's bedridden. She was semi-conscious. She couldn't move. Anyways, we had a big king-size bed. And so Jane had to go around town hunting for sheets for me, special sheets. And then I saw her work like a slave, trying to roll Burl over in and back, however the nurses do it. But I've never forgotten her being so concerned about us just before they left on holidays. And then I'll tell just one little thing about, I don't know whether it's Peter or Andrew. Which one works for Samaritan first? Peter. Peter was down here with the Billy Graham Association. I was hooking in with them at the time. And the CEO for the Billy Graham was down here. And Peter hadn't been working that long. And he had gone to college with my youngest son. And they'd taken the computer course together. And when the CEO came over, they said, this is Peter, he's working for me. I said, oh, I know Peter. I had him in my Sunday school class. I said, you don't have him working for you, do you? He said, yes. I said, my goodness, he went to school with my son. I said, I wouldn't have hired him on a dime. He turned around and looked at me. He said, he's my boss. He's my boss, and you're going to have me fired. And then I told him after, Peter, what a great guy you were. Peter. Yeah. Peter. There he is. Oh, what a great guy.
Hi, my name's Bert Melanson, and the first time we met Dave was at Parkside Baptist Church, and we started to get to know them pretty good after a while. And Dave, I got a question before I say anything else. Dave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm here, Bert.
I just want to ask you a question. Was that suit you had today worn 50 years ago? Or?
No, the suit I wore today doesn't fit me because I've lost so much weight.
Oh, okay.
If I had the one 50 years ago,
it would
have fit fine.
Right. Anyway, yeah, we got to know Dave. They were pretty good there when we first found out he was working on cars. Him and I pretty well got some in common because I used to come here in my car and we work on it and change motors sometime and change transmission. But anytime I wanted to know about the problem I had with my car, I didn't call a mechanic. I called Dave because Dave knows everything about cars. I don't think there's nothing that you ask him about cars, he's going to tell you. So appreciate you guys, and hopefully you had a good day. Thank you.
Going to say a little something. My name is Betty McLeod, and I go to the same church as many of us do here at Highfield Baptist. And this is where I met. Actually, I met Dave. I knew Dave before I went to Highfield Baptist because he worked for the city as well. And he would come upstairs and go by my desk once I had started and talk to me. And I remember one thing he was consistent with, and I never forgot this. He always said, you know, we have a Bible study group. We get together at Bob Carter's place. And he said, if you ever want to come, and I thought, will he ever stop? And you know what? I went. And Jane was there as well. And I got to know two of the most godly, loving, caring human beings that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And it was your persistence that helped me along the way. So God bless you both for all you do.
Congratulations, Jane.
Thank you,
Dave.
Tom.
Hey, Tom, thank you for coming.
Well,
How
good
you
to be
doing?
here.
Appreciate
I'm
you.
going to say a few words about you, so just
Don't tell any lies.
be careful. Be careful. We met Dave. Well, that's a lot. Way back in the 60s. That seems like a long time ago. And my name's Tom Doggett, and Dave and I changed the motor in my old 32 Ford once, right?
I think so, yeah.
And when my wife lived on Crown Drive, well, before we were husband and wife, after she moved out of there, I think you took the apartment on Crown Drive, right? I went over to visit Dave one time, and guess I opened the fridge. I wanted a cold drink. Guess what was in the fridge? Car parts. And that's as true as I'm standing here. And but anyway, Dave and I went to PEI one night to visit his parents. Was it in Charlottetown, Dave?
Yeah.
And I had an old Volkswagen, and it was before the days of the heater being in the front. It was in the back, and you had to rely on the heat coming up to the front. Well, when we left PEI that night, it was minus 20, if I remember right. And Dave's mother said, "You better take a blanket." She said, "You said there's not much heat in that car." I said, "No." So she gave us an old blanket, and we cut a hole in it and put it down over the stick shift. And Dave wrapped it around his feet, and I wrapped it around mine, kept it clear of the gas pedal. And all the way across that night on the ferry, we were breaking ice. The ferry would go up and down, up and down. And the guy that was doing the roundabouts, he said to Dave and I, do you remember? He said, "Come with me," he said, and he took us down where the propeller shaft went out, and it was a great experience. But when we got off the ferry in Turpentine, I think it was in New Brunswick, there was a lot of cars shut down on the side of the road, and there were light and power trucks repairing things, and all of a sudden, I forget exactly where it was, but Dave and I saw a UFO. And we weren't drinking either. And I've never known Dave to drink, and I don't drink. But anyway, we did see this thing in the sky, remember, Dave? And it had lights shining down on it. Anyway, we did hear that there was a UFO sighting that night. And I have lots of good memories from Dave and Jane, so that's all I want to say. I think the Lord's now speaking about it.
Yes, I see if you like them all.
But I knew God was with me. But I was struggling in my faith. And I met so many beautiful people at I Feel Church. And Dave and Jay, I tell them all the time, they're like my second mom and dad. They're so inspiring, encouraging. If you're down, speak to Dave. He'll get you back up. And it's funny sense of humor. Every time I call him, I suppose he builds the boat. That's where he goes on, because I'm from Newfoundland, you see? But that puts a smile on my face. So I'm so happy to be here today, Dave. You're beautiful and still beautiful bride. Fit that dress, can you imagine? So beautiful. And Dave, I love you both, just like my own mom and dad. So God bless you both.
Wow. My name is Moses. I am from Liberia. I've been here for 14 years. And I got to know Dave and Jean for 14 years. I remember when we came June, April 2005. And from that, Dave and Jean have been in my home for my kids' birthdays and all kind of holidays we celebrated in the past. They've been there, and most importantly, when my wife and I lost our parents in Africa, they were with us day and night. So I'm most thankful for you, Dave and Jane, and your kids. Oh, God bless you all.
Yeah.
Somebody better bring this thing down. Thank you, Kathy. You're welcome. My name is Christina Corey Lemoyne. What relationship do I have with Jane and Dave? Well, several years ago, it must be 10 or more, I was doing some genealogy research in the Manuel family because I am a descendant of the Manuels as well as the Coreys. And someone, and I don't even remember who because I called everybody everywhere who had a last name that sounded anything like what I wanted to find out, and they directed me to Dave Manuel in Moncton. So I called Dave Manuel in Moncton. Well, why don't you come down? Well, okay, we have a son who lives here in Moncton. Sure, we'll come down. And by the way, my brother John is here visiting as well, so we'll be able to have a good talk. Well, that began a wonderful friendship. Not only cousins, and we're third cousins twice removed, whatever that twice removed means. That's what we are. But more importantly, we've become fast friends. I mean, not the minute, but in the time, in the hours that we spent that first day, I just knew in my heart that these people were my friends and I wanted to be theirs. And they have shown me so much love, not only family love, but Christian love. And they've shown me and my husband what it means to be a married couple in Christ. They've set a good example, and I thank you folks for that.
Thank you. Okay, we ready?
We're ready.
Ready?
Ready when you are, Freddie.
Get in the sand.
Ready?
Yeah.
Down through. What? Yeah, can.
One bite for him.
Good job.